A little more about money here today. We did a retail roundup earlier. This is more just about money and celebrity. I'm a fan of Alyssa Milano.
Sure, what's not to like?
I have been since
she spoke to your generation, didn't she?
During her Who's the Boss days?
She's charmed.
Yes, I loved her in Who's the Boss. Now, I didn't watch Charmed.
No.
But I understand she was in that show for quite some time.
Had health issues, yes?
Has she had health issues? I don't know that.
Or am I confusing her with someone else?
I have not heard she's had health issues.
I'm thinking of someone else.
I don't think so. Well, Shannon Doherty is very ill. She's very ill, of course.
She's very ill.
Also in Charmed.
Yeah,
that's right. That's why I get them mixed up.
Well, Alyssa Milano is she's getting a lot of pushback on social media, and people are calling her tone deaf. Now, I defend her.
Mm-hmm. But people have also accused you of being tone deaf.
Okay. All right. See if you agree with that assessment with Alyssa Milano. She recently started a GoFundMe campaign to raise money for her 12-year-old son's baseball team, and she tweeted out, "My son's baseball team is raising money for their trip to Cooperstown and the Baseball Hall of Fame. Any amount would be so greatly appreciated. You could read more about the team and make a donation here with a link to the GoFundMe."
Do you know how far the team would be traveling? Is she a California resident?
Team is traveling from California. They were trying to raise $10,000 for the team to get to Cooperstown. Okay, that was the goal.
A lot of Little League teams do that.
Yeah.
My brother has a son who's roughly your son's age, Kelly, one about 6 months younger, and his Little League team went up to Cooperstown, and it is a factory.
Yeah.
They just move teams in and out, but the kids love the experience. Yeah. They get, souvenirs and stuff, and they get to play at Cooperstown. But they're in and out constantly all summer long.
I think as far as sports goes, it's probably maybe the most visited, even though football is clearly the biggest sport. The Baseball Hall of Fame has that nostalgia to it. It's 100 years old, And I don't know. You're right. There are a lot of Little League teams, a lot of baseball
The Little
teams.
Patriots kid went.
He go to Cooperstown?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think they're allowed to. They have fields. They play games up there. Of course,
that's what they do.
They do
There's a little
tournaments there.
So this is $10,000 for the whole team.
That's right. So she's saying we're trying to raise $10,000 to send my son's team to Cooperstown. Now the pushback is this: most people are saying, "Hey, aren't you the woman who has worked steadily in Hollywood for 40 years? Aren't you a woman that when I look up your estimated net worth, it's north of $10 million? And aren't you married to David Buglieri, who is the head of the Creative Arts Agency, which is one of the largest Hollywood talent agencies? And doesn't he pull down a multi-million-dollar salary per year?" And the answer is yes. Now, others have said
all of the above.
All the above. And then others chimed in, "Aren't you the woman that drives an electric Porsche 4S at a value of $200,000? And didn't you say that you wanted a different color, so you spent $14,000 on a custom paint job?" And the answer is yes and yes to that.
We've not missed yet with a question?
No, all of these are absolutely right.
In the affirmative.
She fought back and said, "I'm getting some media inquiries about whether I have financially contributed in the past to my son's baseball team. And I'll tell you, I paid for the uniforms for that team 2 years ago. So don't come at me just because I'm saying we're raising some money. The kids are trying to do
snacks every third game."
That's right.
Ooh.
What kind of snacks
Capri Suns ain't cheap.
What kind of snacks do you get in Beverly Hills?
My goodness.
Beverly Hills snacks.
I mean, a lot of people are saying, "How dare you ask us for money? You could fund this whole thing and not even blink."
She could net jet the whole team there in one flight.
Absolutely.
She could. Yeah. And her husband's richer than she is.
CAA, I didn't know that.
I didn't. At first I read of it.
Wow.
She said, "Look, I'm snack mom 3 times a year." What? These cookies don't buy themselves, okay?
Who's the boss?
So a lot of the kids have been doing like car washes and stuff to raise money, and she said that's why she put it up on her social media. And listen to this. She says, "Thank you to all who have contributed to the GoFundMe. You have made things so much easier for our boys and our families. We really appreciate it." They wanted $10,000. As of last night, they had raised $11,050. So they're over the top.
Yeah.
Well, you're the fanboy in the room, Kelly. What are your thoughts?
And what'd you give?
I'm having a hard time defending Ms. Milano.
It's tax deductible, you know.
Well, I'm having a hard time.
I don't think so.
I feel like it's pretty tone deaf. When you've got that kind of money to ask everyone for money. But I don't.
There's a different angle to take. I mean, if the kids are having a car wash or if the kids are selling cookies or candy bars or pencils or whatever the hell it is kids sell nowadays.
Yes.
Put that on there and say, hey, go visit this car wash. My kid's washing cars
Exactly.
from noon
That's
to
what I
5
would
on
say.
Saturday.
That's what I would say.
That's what you do. You don't go asking blatantly like the world's your GoFundMe.
I agree. That's what I would have said. And I like the fact that they're doing car washes or whatever.
You want them to earn it.
Of course. In fact, the parents should probably say, go earn the $10,000 by doing these things, and maybe
we'll put the word out.
We'll kick in.
We'll kick in. Maybe if you earn half of it, we'll give $5,000. As a whole team, we'll give $5,000. But boy, when you're Alyssa Milano and her husband worth millions and millions, and you say to everybody, "How about giving to my son's team?"
Yeah,
that does not look.
But I get where she's coming from.
Bad look. It's a bad look. You do.
Like, she shouldn't have to be responsible for paying for everything.
Well, I don't
think people like when people are like, "Aren't you rich?" I'm like, "Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean I got to pay for everything."
She shouldn't have to pay for it, but she shouldn't ask for it either. I mean, you've got to
Why
It's
not?
got to be funded. Why not?
Why not?
To complete strangers for
Yeah. Sure.
Don't
People
you
put Venmos on the back of their cars. It's
I
the
hate
same
that.
thing.
I hate that.
Well,
I
but you
hate
don't
that.
have to
It's
do
not
anything.
illegal, you know.
No, it's not illegal.
Yeah.
Nobody's arresting her. It's a bad look. It's a terrible. What they're saying is, how dare you ask
Maybe
me for
those
money?
charmed residuals don't pay out as much as we expect.
Well, maybe.
Who's
not.
the boss and get a lot of reruns
Maybe not.
on Tubi.
Well,
so
again, they're worth
Yeah.
multiple millions of dollars. Look, there's nothing wrong with her doing it, but it's going to get
But
bad reaction.
And you're going to get dragged through the mud online.
Of course you are. I mean, I think she should be smart enough to know if I'm going to ask common guy for that kind of money. Now, I didn't like it. The same type thing happened when Oprah and The Rock gave a bunch of money to Hawaii and then said, you can give every little bit helps. When Hawaii had those terrible, massive wildfires, the fire that wiped out whole populations, people were pushing back against Oprah and The Rock, saying, why don't you give more? They gave like $20 million. I think
the whole thing's not their responsibility.
That's not their responsibility.
These kids are her responsibility.
Yeah, I think
or at least one of them.
I just think it looks really, really bad. When you are really wealthy and then say something like that. And he's right. I don't like that when people put on the back of their car, "Here's my Cash App. I'm getting married. Do you want to give?" But you can do it if you want. I just think it looks tacky.
It does.
It's terrible.
And I think most people, 99% of people, don't do it when they see that on the back of a car.
But they do raise some money.
I bet it's higher than 99. I do see the kids at college game day will do it.
So
they'll hold up their signs because they're outside in all kinds of weather, waiting for the football games to start at noon, and they're out there for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, they're poor college kids saying, "I want some money." We got a guy here.
I bet that works.
I'm sure it does. I think it works on the back of cars. In fact, I mentioned it one time and said how much I hated it. I saw it for the first time about 2 years ago. Somebody had written on the back of their car, "Getting married in June, want to contribute? Cash App, here it is." And I thought, that's the tackiest thing I've ever seen. Well, 6 months later, a guy emailed me, snarky, and said, "Thanks for the idea. I just raised $800 for my wedding." And I did. He's like, "I did." Oh, my God.
You should have asked him for a cut.
Yeah, you should have.
Where's my 10%? That's CAA.
You could imagine.
That's how you CAA
You
it.
can imagine how I felt when I got that. Oh, man, that galled me.
Yeah.
That really did. We got a guy here getting married in April. If he put a sign up on the back door and said, "Give me some money for my wedding if you'd like to," I would think that's really tacky. I don't like that at all.
But an invitation in the mail's not.
That's different. An invitation, a gift's got to.
And I get cake.
Yeah, it's like you're not
In
coming.
return.
You're not coming, but here, give me some money. Jackie, you're talking about Alyssa Milano asking for money for her son's baseball team. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what are the odds that there are more kids on that team with parents that are wealthy, like Alyssa Milano and her husband?
I think there's.
it's
I think very good odds.
Pretty high.
Yeah, because they're all. Yeah, I think it's very.
Yeah.
I think.
I see both sides of it. Like, I can see the kids needing to raise the money for something the kids are wanting to do and not getting the help from the parents, because that's just going to feed the entitlement of these kids. But I don't know. It does seem kind of, maybe if she's the one that created the GoFundMe, that is tacky as heck.
Yeah, I don't know that she did. I don't know if she created it or not. Stepped in she does say she started a GoFundMe campaign.
That's what I thought.
She started it, so she's getting a lot of backlash about that.
Yeah, that does seem. I would have had like a parent that is not as popular, you know what I mean, that would have made the GoFundMe, and then she could have shared it, and it will look better.
Agreed. If she starts it, and she's
Look a little better, but she'd still catch some gruff on it.
I agree.
Just
I mean, anytime you're worth millions and millions of dollars. You ask for money.
Yeah.
People are going to go, what are you asking for money for?
Especially for the Rodeo Rugrats or whatever they're called.
Thank you, Jackie. They're good this year. They're going all the way to They're going all the way to Cooperstown, as you can tell. That's right.
They got a little something for a nice meal while they get there. Well, they got an extra $1,000 in the kitty.
Now, I hate that. Here's Chris Demm's going to hate this. There is this is really an offshoot of Retail Roundup. A group has started a new venture. This is in Las Vegas. An adult playground. It's for adults only. You can only...
Is this sexual?
Talk more about the playground part.
No. Huh? This has games, video games, and climbing equipment. For adults and for adults only. And the person who started it said, you know what? When we get to be adults, we forget how to have fun.
I mean, look, we've forgotten how to play as adults, so we want to bring people back to the playground, the joy of childhood and the excitement of going to a playground.
This is an offshoot of the Luxor Hotel.
Oh.
An adult-sized playground featuring games and a bar right across the street. We have games that have been inspired by Operation, High Five, and Bop It. So these are little kid games, but now there are adult versions of those games.
Most of our games are meant for groups because we want people to high five, we want people to laugh, we want people to create amazing friendships while at Playground.
And right across this way, you guys have a bar.
We have an amazing bar with specialty drinks, specialty vessels. A lot of them are games, so you're playing a game and creating your drinks, and that can be a cocktail or a mocktail for families, kids, or adults.
You know, Dave wouldn't like it either because drinking is not a game, as Dave has said many times.
Play with alcohol. Like
you don't.
You get it out of that realm.
Drinking is not a game, but she has made it.
So are these like swing sets, or are these like more like the Jengas that you see at a bar?
Both, all the above.
Monkey bars.
Tons of that kind of stuff.
What could go wrong if you mix alcohol?
I see a lot of broken ankles.
Kids are welcome until 5. After that, it's all adults. So there's drinking and then playing on the...
It might take off in Vegas.
Could. That's about the only place.
Yeah, Vegas might work.
You know, when we used to take our kids to those jumping fun type places, a guy told me, and we were at my son's birthday party, you know, or somebody's birthday party, turning like 5. And those kids, I mean, they loved that stuff at that time. I guess they probably still do.
Sure.
But he says, I have so many requests for adults to get in here and rent the thing, you know, to play around on the trampolines and the big puffy stuff.
Sure.
And he said, I did that until one woman had a compound fracture on her ankle, and it was just awful. I mean, it poked through. Yeah. And he's like, I've never seen anything so
any of those
graphic.
Trampoline places, I mean, they've all, that's a lot of liability there.
Right. So he said he considered like opening it up for adults and parties and stuff, but it was too dangerous.
Kids are way more resilient.
Well, exactly. And, you know, he's like most of the folks in here, you know, in their 40s or 50s.
Of course.
Kids bend, adults break.
Overweight.
Overweight.
Having trouble.
Have a bottle of wine in them.
Trouble getting up. Yeah, they've been drinking. Exactly. Speaking of that now, a birthday celebration, a party has been in the works for some time now for a California woman. She is the second oldest woman in the world and the oldest woman in the United States, Edith Recogno. She lives in Willis, California. She turns this weekend 116 years old.
Wow.
116 years old.
Wow.
So what they do is they have a huge parade past her window, and they prop her up next to the window and let her look out onto the parade. And they've done it every year since she turned 110. And this year she turns 116. Born early February 1908.
Wow.
God, she's 5 years younger than Flight.
Yeah. It's true.
Than the aeroplane.
God, that's right. She's 5 years younger than Flight.
That's right.
And she,
Lord,
apparently, still doing just fine.
That's incredible.
Still doing just
116.
fine. And they have they've got a cake on the way. They've got a big
hurry.
plan.
Yeah,
they're doing it. They're doing it this weekend, and that's when her birthday is. And she will be.
Is she spry?
I wouldn't say spry.
They prop her up.
I thought I was.
Well, but they don't want her out there in February.
On Main Street in February, even though it's Southern California. You know, I saw a still picture of her and then realized it was actually video, not a still picture. That's how.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit play. I did.
This is it. This is movement.
Golly.
Can she speak?
She can speak, but she did not speak to cameras. They just had like her daughter, her granddaughter.
What was that?
something.
I mean, it's almost sad to play it now because I would imagine
Lord.
that woman was
Flossie?
She's long gone.
Yeah.
Flossie. Is she 110?
She was 110. Yeah, she was celebrating her.
Just waiting for the warm embrace of death.
Yeah.
They asked Flossie, "Are you ready? Are you ready for your birthday?" She was turning 110.
Flossie, you say you're a little tired this morning. Is that right?
I am tired.
She is very tired. That's actually, I heard, your favorite activity to do at the center here is to take a little nap.
Take a nap many times as I can.
Later today, Flossie's family is going to be coming out here to throw you a big birthday party. Are you excited for your party?
Not one bit.
Nope. She's had enough of this.
Those three responses may be the essence of life right there.
Yeah. That's 110. She was turning 110. The woman.
I keep waking up from her naps.
She keeps trying to go to sleep.
I know.
Let death slip around her.
Y'all want
Never
to keep having
does.
parties.
The woman who is turning 116 is the oldest of 7 and has outlived all of her siblings. So she's seen
Goodness.
a lot of
Wow.
death, of course.
If she had kids, she probably outlived some of them.
I guarantee. There is a 117-year-old woman in Spain, or she's turning 117 this year, so she's older by a few months than this lady in California. Whew, 116. I'll take it.
You can have
I'll
it.
take it.
You
I
can
want
have it.
it. I want it. That's
Nope.
right.
Would you try to wave at the parade as it goes by?
Yes, I would. I can lift my arm up and
Like a Muppet.
Yep. Yes, I would. Absolutely. BB, shall I ask you this question about money? We just talked about Alyssa Milano asking for GoFundMe money for her son's baseball team. I saw this online. You're offered $50,000. You can take it tax-free. It's yours. But as soon as you get it, your arch enemy, the person you hate most in the world, gets $100,000. Do you take the $50,000?
See, you already have 100,000, so it's not even going to affect you at all.
So I knew he'd say that.
Yeah.
I knew he'd say.
Yeah, I'd take it.
I would
50
too.
grand? Absolutely. I don't care. Yeah.
I would too. And the person I hate most in the world would get 100,000.
Yeah.
That's Biggie. He'd call us. Well, I'm not coming in.
No.
Exactly. I think I would take it too. I mean,
How many people do you think have arch enemies? I mean, like real enemies.
Real
I mean,
enemies?
They're people at work or in your life that you don't get along with,
Yeah.
family members even.
do you think the more money you have, the more enemies you have? Do you have arch enemies if you have a lot, or you perceive enemies? You know, I have that list.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you and Nixon kept a list of enemies.
All I do is think about people who have wronged me in the past.
Yeah, Nixon wrote it down, which was part of his downfall.
Correct.
Politicians and heads of companies, those are the people I think that have
that's true.
the most enemies.
Do you have somebody like when somebody says the person you hate most in the world gets $100,000? Does somebody pop to mind, or do you have to sit and think, now who do I hate most?
I don't hate anybody.
I don't either.
I don't have one person that I hate.
I don't think I do either.
There's one person that comes real close.
Yeah, that you.
But it's
that you've
I
got
don't-
in your
I don't-
mind?
Yeah, kind of. Two. But
I mean, what you may end up with is you're funding Al Qaeda.
Well,
yeah,
or
if you're a true American, you hate them.
Well, I bet people. I bet it's their ex-husband or wife.
Yeah.
If you've gone through a really
Maybe.
bad.
Yeah.
So when I say that to you,
Or the current or former president.
well, right, or you're funding his campaign.
Either one.
We just came in some cash. Do you, BB Shay? I say that to you. Can you think of somebody you really hate as soon as you hear?
I don't have that problem with people.
Yeah.
I get along with everybody,
do.
honestly.
I don't think I've got anybody I'd think of. I'd have to think long and hard. Chris, you wanted to comment on that question. If you could have $50,000, bam, immediately, but the person you hate most in the world gets $100,000 at the same time. What do you say?
I would 100% take $150,000.
Oh, it's yourself.
Yeah.
You hate
Self-loathing.
love yourself and hate yourself at the same time. Yeah, exactly.
good point.